Well, thanks so much for your time. We're in Sydney. You're doing a bit of a tour in Australia at the moment, and it's one of your many global markets, but one of the first ones that's come back. Even more flights coming in soon. Exciting market for you, isn't it?
Oh, incredibly. If you look at 2023, there's no question that Australia is going to be our top market in the Asia-Pacific region.
And particularly if you look at the flight capacity, right? You've obviously had more flights with Australia, United, Delta, American, Qantas, Hawaiian, all putting a lot of flights back in to Air New Zealand, Fiji. So there's a lot of connections and direct flights, which makes it super accessible than ever before.
You're exactly right. I mean, if you had told me a year ago that we would have 44 non-stops right now, I would have been doing cartwheels. By the end of the year, we'll have almost 70 non-stops a week. And that's just incredible. But I think it's not only the accessibility, but it's what people will find at the other end. You're aware of the fact that Los Angeles International Airport is in the midst of a 22 billion Australian dollar modernization. And what a lot of people don't realize is how far along it is. So the west gates at Tom Bradley Terminal are already operational for more than a year. That gives us 15 additional state-of-the-art gates welcoming Australian visitors. And by the beginning of 2024, we'll have direct train service to downtown Los Angeles.
It's fantastic to have that, and I mean, if you look at the other growth as well, a lot of European carriers into LA as well. I mean, the growth out of Europe on the other end has been phenomenal. It's also a great one-stop to Europe for Aussies at the same time.
You're exactly right. I mean, it's been interesting. Not only have we seen the recovery from the traditional carriers, but we've seen the entry of low-cost carriers like Norse, Condor, French Bee, Zip Air. So you're right, in terms of connectivity, it's never been easier to get to Los Angeles, and I think you're right, it's also a great opportunity to explore everything LA has to offer, but then a very easy transition to go to other markets.
A lot going on in the hotel space. Obviously a beautiful brand new Conrad that crept up under the radar, has just opened up downtown, and a beautiful development. I mean, that part of downtown now with Disney across the road is just a wonderful part of the city.
You're exactly right. It's an interesting story. First of all, if you think about that whole corridor along Grand Avenue, it really is an arts district in and of itself. You've got everything from the Music Center, and we actually have over 1,500 theatrical productions a year, to the Broad, to Mocha, and the Disney Concert Hall, as you mentioned. Well, the Disney Concert Hall is this iconic building designed by Frank Gehry. The new Conrad was also designed by Frank Gehry and has a wonderful concept restaurant by Jose Andres. But if you look at Los Angeles, the thing that's remarkable to me, in the last 24 months alone, we've added 5,000 new rooms at virtually every price point. So whether you're a family traveling with kids on a budget, or whether you're looking for truly bespoke luxury, there's something in virtually every price point.
It was interesting when you look a few years ago when the Figueroa Hotel reopened after a majestic makeover, and then you've had the Proper come in downtown as well. I mean, I think when the Fig reopened, it kind of really started off this amazing chain of all these beautiful boutique hotels being remastered or opening up downtown. So you've got the big end of town, and you've also got the boutique style as well.
You're exactly right. There's been this boutique hotel boom, and what I love about it is a lot of them are reclaimed spaces. So a great example is the Hotel Perla that just opened. In the 1920s, it was the US headquarters of the Bank of Italy. So it's this beautiful building, but what they've done is they've updated in a way that's made it contemporary elegance, but still keeps the bones of this classic 1920s building. Another example is the Venice V, which is right on Venice Beach. It's a beautiful luxury property, small boutique hotel. Another great example in a totally different part of town is Short Stories. Short Stories is a small boutique hotel directly across from the original Farmers Market and the Grove. So in virtually every neighborhood, you're going to find these incredible boutique concepts.
And particularly the city of Los Angeles, I mean, it does have a few other cities inside it as well, but from a hotel standpoint, a lot of hotels remodeled, remade, opened, even like Fairmont Century Plaza. It's a beautiful hotel that's reopened in one of my favorite parts of the city, and there's more hotels coming, so it's an exciting time as you lead up to the Olympics and whatnot, isn't it?
Yeah, very much so. I mean, you mentioned the Olympics. I think we're incredibly fortunate. I've been in the industry over 30 years. I have never seen a city have this kind of luck with having major events coming year after year. So if you look at 2022, it's a good example. We had the Super Bowl, and you couldn't have written a better Hollywood ending than the Rams winning the first ever Super Bowl at SoFi Stadium. We also had Major League Baseball's All-Star Game virtually every single year in the run-up to then 2026 World Cup and 28 the Olympic and Paralympic Games.
For a destination that's so well known around the world, how important is it to be having big events come there to create more demand, I'd say, for bringing more people in, whether it's domestic or international?
Honestly, it's incredibly important, because the thing I've been telling people is, if you haven't been to LA, even since right before the pandemic, you won't believe how much has changed. We're actually talking about it as LA 2.0. It's really a reboot because in every single one of our product areas, there's been massive new investments. So for example, look at arts and culture. A lot of people don't know that LA now has the most museums of any city in the United States, including spectacular new entries like the Academy Museum of Motion Pictures. And in terms of food and beverage, which clearly is one of my favorites, for food and beverage, we now have over 250 Michelin-rated restaurants. But what I love is the eclectic nature of our street food scene. Really, food trucks were born in Los Angeles. Roy Choi, for example, got his start in a food truck. We have over 400 food trucks featuring cuisine from all over the world, which also makes it incredibly affordable.